Hey everyone, Zero Jedi here with the XBLA Fans channel, here to give you a quick taste of Sea Carts. If you played any of the As Divine games, this will be very familiar. It's by the same developer. Those who have not played any of those games, they're a series of pretty decent RPGs that lean heavily on the dialogue, and they have a lot of cliched anime tropes, ranging from the super ditzy girl who loves to eat tons of food to the protagonist who only wants to protect his friends and family from the coming evil kind of thing. But this one, Sea Carts, is a more sci-fi kind of one, where the other ones have been like more fantasy kind of stuff. This one has these mechanoids, the story being humans and the fairies have lived alongside each other for ages doing fine. Then all of a sudden these factories showed up and started spitting out these mechanoids that have no real memory of their past and talk real funny. Which is kind of very well shown off in the dialogue with the, actually, let's go over and I think we talked to him. Oh, no. They'll have like random capitalizations in their dialogue and all that kind of stuff. But you, Eisen here, actually are different because you, first off, look a lot more like a human. You also are much more attuned for fighting. And you have no issue with English at all. And that's, you kind of showed up 12 years ago and you met this girl, and you kind of then stayed around for the 12 years growing. She grew up, and you then one day decided to just kind of go off. She tags along, and you collect these semi crazy partners. Like this girl right here, she's like a famous item maker who used a potion and turned herself into a monster so she could study them, and she's got the sort of cliched get rich quick scheme kind of thing. But as you can see here, I got the basic RPG stuff, equipment, skills, management weapons. I got my quests, sub-quests, and all that kind of fun stuff. This game, the other As Divine games have pretty similar battle mechanics and like just basic RPG stuff. This one has something different where you can, for your main character, he doesn't really level up. You actually synthesize weapons into stats. So we're going to actually go and put a whole bunch in strength. And as you can see, it's giving me more and more strength as I do that, but we're actually gonna go and put them in health points so I can get more health points. So I should have like 600, yeah, 668. And then of course you can equip stuff to your other characters and stuff like that. Like she uses the gun and all that kind of stuff. So you'll notice that the weapons have like plus whatever on them. Weapons can be upgraded and like, or they're not upgraded, they have better versions of them and all that kind of stuff. Some of the games actually have weapon synthesis. This one doesn't seem to have it. You may have noticed the shop here. That's not like a real money shop kind of thing. This actually fully breaks the game and has broken the games for almost every single game in this dev's collection of games. So you play this, it's either like a barrel game or whatever. You do this and it actually can give you a random weapon. The thing is though, chances are that weapon's going to be better than what you have. So at the very beginning of the game, you destroy the balance. As you can see here, I have like these plus 10, plus 3, plus 5, plus 5, plus 10 weapons, and they just skyrocket your attack damage to a point where you're just doing auto battles for everything. And of course, you might notice the bottom right, there's a little stocking here. So I mentioned fairies before, right? There's this little subsystem that you leave goodies out for fairies and you go and you tickle them and they give you items. Other games, it would actually be like a little garden where you planted items and they would grow into better items kind of stuff. It's essentially the same idea. And then of course, prizes are essentially like, hey, take 10,000 steps, you get an item, or hey, you kill this certain amount of enemies, you get an item, stuff like that. And then you notice the shards here, these can add effects. These add partners in battle that can give you extra effects. So where is the one that's really good? So this guy right here, when you use him, it strengthens your attack and stuff like that. And of course, since you're an mechanoid, you don't actually have magic. Mechanoids aren't supposed to have magic. You, however, have the ability to get chips installed in you, and that can power you up and let you use magic. But the issue is I have such strong basic attacks that magic is no real incentive to be used. And then of course you see here titles, they're just another equipable fun thing. But we're actually about to go west now, so let's go. The story is very, very cliche. The other ones, it's essentially been like, hey, some evil is happening, you have to stop it. This one is no different, where slight spoilers, you learn by going to this ancient artifact and inserting chips that you were a mechanoid made specifically to battle to fight the coming darkness or something like that. And cliched enough that, oh no, we don't have, like, that specific ship doesn't have a whole bunch of information. So it looks like you're gonna be collecting these chips, going back and learning tidbits of information. And of course, there's this supposedly looming darkness and shadow organization that's doing stuff. There's also this side organization of these mechanoids that it looks like people who, like rich humans who are collecting mechanoid parts, are being robbed. No one's been hurt or killed, but they're getting robbed and having their stuff stolen. And of course, there's a teleportation system. Like, if I don't want to stay here, I can just teleport somewhere else. But like, you probably noticed that the combat, I was just auto-scrolling through it, and I should probably explain it. At the top there, you got your turn order. Left, I can just upper left, I can just skedaddle if I want to. If I hit Y, it will automatically battle. But of course, if I want to, I can go into these different things. I have skills, which is also magic and all that kind of stuff here. Here's that thing I was talking about earlier. Like if I want to use fairy charge, fun stuff like that. And then the little plips at the bottom are essentially like what like allows you to use your stuff. So we're gonna use Gale here. And of course there's this system like, hey, I'm gonna do this supercharge. It's gonna increase my attack and intelligence and more physical damage. But for now, I'm just gonna hit Y because I'm so overpowered. And this has been the same for all the games that once you get a super strong weapons, basic battles are cake. The only issue is that when you get to a boss, usually the difficulty goes up tenfold. So actually, before we get to there, grinding has been very important in some of these games, especially at the bosses. All the basic fights are cakes, and like I said, the boss fights are where it kind of like smacks you around like crazy. That's kind of offset by these, but you can actually change the encounter rates. Of course, if you put it by half, you are starving yourself of resources. And they're gonna talk a bit here. There's a lot of this. It's not like overly too much. The past games, some of them have actually been far more offensive with this. Not as in like vile. They just there'll be like minutes of dialogue, just like in cutscenes and stuff like that. Yeah, blah 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 blah. You can't skip these. You can actually also hit the button and just see whatever they've been doing. They also have a fun system of I hit one of the buttons, I can actually just warp to the entrance, which is pretty great. Another interesting thing is you can rotate characters. One of the things is that each character has their own special ability. Eisen here can actually activate these control panels. Clara is able to kick down like super busted doors and stuff like that. Luca can, if you see a poisonous plant, she can use poison to like get rid of the poisons and stuff like that. In the past, there have been like tiers of these, like you have to actually be friends with them to have higher tiers and stuff like that. This doesn't seem to have it. Gant, you can actually throw upwards up a like steep thing if there's a plant he can grab onto. Actually, I believe it's been a while since I actually had one of them, so they usually come at a certain interval, if that makes sense. There's one, like I said. So I'm gonna push the button. We're gonna operate it, and then we go. But yeah, if you've played any of the As Divine games, this is gonna be very, very familiar. And like I said before, it might be a lot like their other games. The thing is, though, their other games are pretty decent. Look at these robots. Let's get rid of them. You'll probably notice that at the end of every battle, I'm getting all my HP back. That's been kind of normal for most of their games. It seems hit and miss if like you'll get your HP back, or if you're not, you won't. I will say that their sprite work has gotten a ton better. Some of their first games, the characters were super weird looking. That's a core, so I believe that some of the cores will allow me to, like you saw, I had like one fire chip equipped. I bet later on I'll get the ability to equip multiple chips. But yeah, it's a non-offensive sci-fi RPG with some fantasy thrown in there. A fun fact is the fairies aren't these, they're different types of fairies, but they're like the great fairies aren't these super pretty like creatures with beautiful wings. Here are these almost monster looking creatures, but it's kind of like, I don't know how to say, like if you ever played Bayonetta, you know how like you have the demons and then you have like the angels who look, yeah, they're angels, but they're still kind of monstery looking kind of thing. Let's see if this happens if I just go this way. Wee thump. But yeah, we'll go through this, some dialogue will happen, so on and so forth. But oh, look at that mecha thing. I think this looks cool. But anyways, I am ZeroJD. This is the XBLA fan channel. This is C-Cards. It's fine. If you weren't super into the As Divine games because of their sort of settings, this might be better for you. But then again, a lot of the stuff is introduced in almost exactly the same. Hey, buddy. Almost exact same way. Oh, yeah, there's a fairy village that I've been kind of helping the little lost tiny fairy. There are multiple different types of fairies. But anyways, I am ZeroJD. This is the XBLA fans channel. This is C-Cards. Oh, Titan monsters. Let's just beat this dude up. Oh boy, she just got wrecked. So let's see what we can do to counter that. All right, let's see. Leaf cutter. All right, let's take you out. Activate. So his is actually pretty fun. He actually restores health when he hits stuff. And I think he just does a whole bunch of damage. But yeah, it does lean kind of heavily into the very, like, a lot of the anime tropes. Boy, people are getting wrecked. I should be fine. Bam. And we're done there. But I think the part I like the most about this is this customization thing where I can actually increase stats how I see fit. And you get so many extra items. You also get money, which I haven't used a bit of at all. I am ZeroJD. This is the XBLA fan channel. This was C-Carts. It's fine. Even though they have done a whole bunch of other games like this, they at least changed the story a bit, or they kind of changed the setting to keep it kind of interesting. It's not a copy paste by any means. And some of the, like, the shop system and stuff, I guess they could, I don't know how you could fix that, but it's like, it does feel like it breaks the game. I've never gone super far into any of these games, so I don't know if it balances out. But the farthest I've gotten into one of these is about maybe 3-4-ish hours, and I still was just destroying enemies with, like, the weapons I had. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.